Houston, we have a good problem. All right, man. Let's talk about it.
Let's go.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
Yep.
All right,
Rudy Tomjanovich, baby.
Come on, bro. That's how we just H-Town, bro. We bleed the H-Town blue blood, man.
Look, you plucking at my heartstrings with that one, bro.
On.
That's Rudy T. That's my guy.
Come on, bro. Why not? Why not? This is a joyous day. We've been waiting for football for how long, Omar?
Oh, bro.
Riding the buzz off of the Houston Texans, who look. Ended the year amazingly. We knew this team was going to be good, riding in off-season crazy acquisitions. We went from the paper bandits to the on-field problem.
Oh, for sure.
A real bro. I mean, it was all the talk, all the hype, all the national media hype, everything. Your boy, even me, predicting that we was going to drop the first game, take a L. I got to eat the crow now. Gladly. I man. They shot on the field. And look, we're gonna go over our major takeaways from this week 1 victory against the Colts, man. Now that we a little sobered up and everything that, now that we can get some fresh.
We're upstanding citizens now. Sobered up. We're sobered up nuns right now.
Look, if y'all don't know why we're talking about that, man, me and my boy Omar, we caught the game live at his crib. We did our thing. We went live immediately following the victory. We hopped on live. Shout out to you guys if you hopped on the live with us or if you watched that show. I can't say that it wasn't a hot mess.
Look, man, I wouldn't even call it a hot mess. You know what? My brother, shout out to my brother Ivan. He said it best. He said, you don't have to be great at first, but you have to start in order to be great. Oh no, what did he say? You don't have to be great when you start. You have to start to be great.
I like
and that was yesterday. Yesterday was this live stream that we did, you and I together here at my house. That was the start of our live stream, of our like joint live stream, because we do lives this way, right? Where you're at home in your house, I'm at home in my home. Fortunately, this weekend you were able to clear some time in your schedule to actually come here to my house so we could watch the game.
Got to.
And it was perfect, but we wanted to try to capture that by doing a live stream together in a different setting, right? And so this was our first time doing that, and we already got tons of like feedback amongst you and I on how we're going to make it so much better for the next one.
We're going to keep the train rolling, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm excited. I'm happy that we had our first little stumble through. We managed to still put on a great show. We had great callers.
It actually went really well.
Yeah,
Jack was there. Jack was involved.
Right.
Our boy Jack Daniels, he was rolling with us.
Yeah. Shout out to the people that called in, that hit the link and actually joined us live. Folks, you don't need anything. I mean, what you got to join us is right here in your hand. That's it. We had people from Philly, we had people from Atlanta, we had people from Georgia, we had people, our man Texans was over in Rockport, hanging out with us. So it was great, man. It was
people in the chat from Australia.
Oh bro. My man Global from Australia. Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah,
bro. Absolutely insane. As we said, we do things a little bit different here, man. Right. We having a good time. Obviously, we want y'all to have a good time too. We're extreme fans, just like you guys are. So when we do these lives, you have the opportunity to hop on cam with us. All we do is provide the link in the chat. Click that link, hop on. Like I said, you don't need no fancy equipment. Hop on with your phone. So shout out to the people that joined us, man. But look, let's get into these takeaways, Omar. Let's talk about it, bro. Look, with a fresh set of eyes on it, looking back, Omar, do you know the time of possession?
Oh, yes. I'm glad that you brought that up, because let me pull up the exact time of possession, because that's something that I saw on the team stats. I didn't get an opportunity to talk about that when we were looking at it, but our time of possession was 40 minutes.
Think about how insane that is, bro.
40 minutes was our time of possession.
We possessed the ball for 40 minutes. Now look, let's kind of start right there, okay? And talk about how that affects the game. For some people, that may not jump out as such a crazy stat or be like, okay, well, why does that matter? Dude, you have the ball. You the other team don't have the ball, right?
Exactly.
And you could say the reason why they even scored as many points as they did. I mean, AR hit some bombs that with some quick strikes or whatever. But man, when you can control the rock the way that we did, it's a recipe for success.
Yeah,
man.
Agree 100%.
And the way that you're able to possess the ball as much as you do is absolutely by having a good run game. And Joe Mixon is Timothy, bro. He's the guy.
Mixon was toting that tater, as my man Marshawn Lynch would say. Toting that tater. Hey, he ran 5. What did he do? 35 carries, 152 yards, 30 carries, 159 yards, averaging 5.3 yards a carry.
Amazing. We
found out in the post game huddle in the locker room when D'Amico was given the speech that their target was 4. Is that an average target? I would imagine 4 yards.
It's not
per
bad.
carry.
I mean, yeah, you get 4 yards to carry. Yeah,
that's pretty solid performance. And I think he ended up with 5.3. I think the team overall ended up with 5.9 average yards per carry for the entire team. Man, just a great show. A great showing by everybody on the squad. I think he also got some receiving yards in there. 3 catches for 19 yards total, averaging 6.5 a catch. I mean,
good stats.
Mixon absolutely is who we thought he was gonna be, who we expected him to be. I'd say he probably exceeded expectations a little bit.
100%, because we hadn't seen him in the preseason, right?
Exactly.
We didn't really. We knew what we wanted to expect and what we thought we would see, but like you say, this exceeded.
Come on, bro! 159 yards, man.
Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's spectacular, bro.
With the concerns, the only thing we saw in the preseason, right? And I'm not going to even mention his name, okay? Because I know people are sick of hearing us mention.
No, we're gonna talk
about
who
will not be mentioned.
Nah, we're gonna name him. He's gonna talk about
what we saw in the preseason was really the only things that we could go off of, right? It was same offensive line, just different running back. And when we saw a lack of production at the running back position from the RB2, so it was like, damn, is the O-line gonna be able to hold up? And Omar, going into this first game, we thought the consensus was going to be they can pass block better than they can run block.
Right.
But it was
the complete 180.
Complete 180 this game. Because give credit to the Colts defensive line. Dude, they 10 quarterback hits on CJ, 4 sacks on CJ. He was just under duress the entire game, man. If not for the run game and the offensive line blocking as well as they did for Joe Mixon, we probably don't come out of this with a victory, bro.
Yeah. And a couple other things too, man. I mean, there was 1 interception thrown by the Colts. We didn't throw a single interception, didn't have a single fumble loss.
We had 2 that kind of came back.
Well, yeah. I mean, but again, the picks were because of like gross, like holding calls, right? That they got pulled. One of them was
kind of egregious holding.
And then the other one was, I mean, you call it a little ticky tack, but listen, we're getting these Patty Mahomes calls now, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're the media darlings.
Yes, you mentioned that during the game, and it was a great point, right? You said it was like, hey, can we get some of these calls to go in our favor, just like Patrick Mahomes does? And bro, we did. Some of these reversals were like,
there was a couple of them where we were like, ooh, you know what I mean? And then like it turns out, okay, no, we're good. But yeah, I mean, so just a couple of more other team things. One thing that I didn't put up in our banner here that I'll put up now was penalties.
Yeah. So right on brand, right? Laremy Tunsil just doing what Laremy Tunsil does.
False start.
I mean,
offense number 78.
It's inevitable. Is it not inevitable? Is it not inevitable at this point? It's just he's gonna get 2 or 3 of these calls a game, and every time it happens, Omar, it's just a drive killer.
See, and I'm being a bit critical about penalties because I mean, let's face it, 5 penalties for 30 yards. That's not horrible. It's not horrible, right? I mean, it's
not
like
horrible, but
it's not
in the
like,
times that it happened, though.
yes, there you go. That is the main point, right? It's they, and you've said this before. Absolute drive killers, right?
That's it.
Absolute drive killers. And then unfortunately, most of the penalties happen on the offensive line, offensive side of the ball because of Laramie Tunsil and his fast twitch muscles that twitch a little too fast, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like
that's a good point. Were there any defensive penalties?
That's a good question. I can't.
I mean, can you call getting burnt a penalty? Because if getting burnt is a penalty, then yeah, we had some penalty. Jimmy Ward should be penalized.
Jimmy Ward should have his check penalized. That's what he should. we need to start figuring out if there's some incentives and some decentivizing that we can do there. Because he got cooked a few times. But all in all, we had and D'Amico said this in the post game press conference where he said, big plays lead to scores. There's just no doubt about it, right? And the two big bombs that AR threw, which by the way, he ended up absolutely showing out. And I'm a little scared of that guy now. I'll be honest with you.
You want to talk about him real quick?
Yeah, we could talk about him real quick. So
he's definitely in our notes.
Man,
if Anthony Richardson, because I agree with you, okay. We talked about it before. Anthony Richardson right now is essentially a rookie. Okay.
Yes, by all intents and purposes, correct.
Yeah, his history at even playing the quarterback position overall is just not an extensive history. You know what I'm saying? So his upside is there.
Yes,
and I will be completely honest in saying that before the draft, I was an AR guy. Definitely wasn't a Bryce guy. Yeah, I was like, oh my God,
yeah, that's a tough one.
I was so glad that we played our way out of that number one spot because if today was any indication, guys, if y'all watching this and you saw what Bryce Young did today,
poor kid, man,
against New Orleans,
was it like 19 for 32 for and 2 picks and I don't know how, 90 yards or something like that. He did horrible stat line. Man.
You say poor kid. I mean, he literally looks like a child.
Yeah, it's like so bad, man. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, he'll be all the millions of dollars. He'll be fine.
I'm sure he will. He wipe his tears away with $100 bills. I'm
exactly.
Sure.
Don't worry about him too hard, bro. But no, coming out of the draft, I was like, dude, CJ Stroud is a more complete and ready quarterback. But I was like, the upside for Anthony Richardson is probably higher because he's just a specimen of a man.
Yeah,
the running ability, the arm is like, yo, once he gets everything in order, he is going to be a major problem. But today, Omar, if he was a better quarterback, we lose this game.
If he was so I agree with you. But one specific thing, if he is 10% more accurate, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, just accuracy. Everything else, I think he's spectacular. If that accuracy bumps up just a tiny bit, man, there was some passes there, brother, that would have had us in deep trouble. Playing off of our heels the entire game. Yep. That one throw specifically where he overthrew and I
think it was A.D. Mitchell working against Stingley. Stingley had to be in some type of cover.
Stingley must have thought he had coverage up top or something. He must have thought that because he did not bite on that route whatsoever. He may have bumped him a little bit, but that was it. Like he made no attempt to stay with him.
He clearly wasn't playing him. He was playing the zone area where he was supposed to be and thought that there was on top coverage. And just, bro, as you said, if Anthony Richardson was more accurate, that's an easy score. That's a walk-in score. That's a routine throw. A high school quarterback should be able to make that throw.
Yeah,
easy.
Agreed.
And
but the reason why he is who he is because he was basically RB2 today as well.
Who's that?
Richardson. Because other than Richardson, nobody else got rushing yards besides Taylor, right? So he did 6 carries, 56 yards. I mean, averaging about 9 yards a carry and a touchdown and a walk-in touchdown. Anthony Richardson did. Yeah. So it's like the kid throws 2 touchdowns, right? Walks in another touchdown. It's like, I mean, and then he's basically playing running back, and he's Cordell Stewart out there. Yeah,
man. And thankfully the Colts.
Y'all kids might be too old for that reference. I mean, I don't know.
That's true. I know. I roll with the punches because I knew.
Google them.
I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say the Colts abandoned their game plan, but it's like, yo, that's their bread and butter. That's what they're great at. Our keys to the game, we talked about, our last episode before coming into this game was make Anthony Richardson throw the ball.
Yeah, make him a
and
statue.
we will win the game. And that's exactly what we were able to do. We kind of held Jonathan Taylor in check when historically we had not been able to.
Right.
And the RPO deal, if Jonathan Taylor's eating, you got to worry about that threat thing. You get Anthony Richardson, to the outside, out, and possibly dump down a short little pass. Man, we were able to contain it, man, and turn him into a passer.
16 carries, only 48 yards for Jonathan Taylor.
Incredible. Hey,
which I mean, for any other running back would probably be a decent day in the office, but for Jonathan Taylor, those are horrible numbers for him.
Yeah,
not because of what you said, right?
Texan killer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so they did a great job. I mean, I would imagine, D'Amico being a very defensive-minded coach to begin with, right? That's his DNA. Had something special game planned for Jonathan Taylor, and it was effective. I mean, it was effective, averaging only Harris, 3 yards a carry.
Yeah, with Christian Harris being out, man, Henry To'oTo'o stepped up.
To'oTo'o stepped up. Yep.
He deserves a lot of credit for what he was able to do.
4 tackles, I think, is what he ended up with on the day, which was good.
Yeah.
And 3 tackles, 4 assisted tackles. Stingley 4 tackles straight up by himself. And
Sting
then
played great, man, playing off of getting tackles. Anytime the ball was thrown in his area, he made some incredible open field tackles.
Yeah.
What did you think about the weird news that came right, following the game? Kind of during the game towards the end of the game that the Colts switched owners. Did you see Nico Collins now owns the Colts?
Now
so proprietorship. Nico absolutely owns the Colts, baby.
Yeah, Nico's that guy, bro. I mean, look, you and I were talking about it. If you look at the stat sheet, right? If you look at touchdowns, it seems that Diggs had the game, right? I mean, if you look at that stat sheet and you actually watch the game, it was Nico that won us that game.
100%.
That knee down receiving catch. By the way, we have yet to talk about him, and we will get there. But that pass that he put right in Nico's hands, only Nico could get it, gave Nico enough time to put a knee down as he was flying out of bounds. I mean, just come on, man.
Beautiful. And
we can't talk better about that kid. It was insane.
Are we spoiled at this point by this? Because that is not an easy throw by either one of these players.
No,
that's not a normal routine type pass and catch. That's the difference, that we're talking about. Anthony Richardson is not making these type of passes.
No, he can't. He can't thread the needle like that.
No. So look, that's the difference between having an elite quarterback. And yes, I'm saying CJ Stroud is an elite guy. His numbers may not have reflected it today, but guess what? That's what having a Super Bowl caliber team is. We don't want CJ Stroud to go out there and be throwing the ball 30, 40 times in order for us to win. We need a run game. We had a run game today. We possessed the ball for 40 fucking minutes. So we controlled the game.
Clock control, clock management. I mean, look, I don't want to get off of Collins because 6 catches, 117 yards.
Stay on him, bro. Stay on that dick. Stay on his dick.
Hey, yo. 6 catches, 117 yards, averaging almost 20 yards a catch.
Yeah.
And
but look, Omar, like you mentioned, bro, it's not just the stats, it's the timing.
You had to watch the game.
These are third down catches. I think some on fourth down. This is when you needed them the most. That CJ went to the guy that's the most clutch, that is the clear number 1 receiver on this Houston Texans team that has a stacked receiving core.
Yo,
think about that.
We were 50% on third down efficiency. So that means half of our third downs, we converted them, but we went for it twice on fourth down and converted both times, both of which were to Nico Collins.
What does that tell you?
I mean, he's that dude, man. He is the unequivocal wide receiver in 1. And you know what's crazy, bro, is that I'm totally cool. Like I started thinking to myself, I was like, okay, if they're making Diggs, the one of the team captains, then for sure he's gonna be the wide receiver one come game time, right?
Yeah.
But I'm starting to feel like the dynamic there is probably a really good one because, again, Diggs ain't no spring chicken, right?
Yeah.
In terms of wide receiver years, he's up there, right? He's probably on the, not to say skill wise, but career wise, he's probably on the back nine, right, of his career.
Yeah, it's hard to get out there and run those routes
It is
when you're in the third
But
decade of
Nico,
life.
I think him and Nico's connection and him and Tank Dale's connection is perfect for the right time, where Diggs still has it. There's no doubt about it. Diggs still got it. He could still get out there and ball. And then you got these young cats that are just absolute monsters that he is now going to be able to take under his wing and show them all of these little cuts and these little tricks and tips
and that's what he's been doing. That's why he's a captain on this team. A locker room guy, a guy that is sharing that wealth of knowledge and experience, man. And someone mentioned in the chat when we were live earlier, they were saying that they believe the number one title, the number one receiver title, is going to switch from week to week, which I'm not mad at the theory at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's true. I think Nico is the number one receiver.
Do you think that with everything in the media that was coming out, right, about Diggs initially, and then about him being a diva and blah, 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 not a team player, locker room cancer, whatever. And then he comes to Houston, and then the reports are the exact opposite, right? So then it's like now there's this beautiful honeymoon phase that's going on between us, the Texans and Diggs, and then everybody thinking, oh, we have to keep an eye on Diggs because he's for sure going to get a ton of balls first game, right? Yeah. And then for Slowick to go, all right, I'm gonna have to show y'all something different and remind y'all who the wide receiver one really is.
Yeah.
And then made a bunch of plays for Nico, but next week or the next game, which we're up against the Sassies, it's gonna, it might be Dale next week. It might be,
Yeah. Like I say, and I'm not mad at that theory at all. Yeah. All I'm saying, my reasoning for saying that, no, I think unequivocally Nico Collins is the number one receiver, because as you mentioned, you would look at the stat sheet and say, well, shit, Steph put up number one receiver type numbers.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is when you need a Mr. Reliable, when you gotta have it, when you have to have a catch, when you gotta get a first down on third down or fourth down, it's Nico, man. You're going to Nico Collins. That catch that CJ threw, it was like a 40, 50-yard throw. Bro, he high pointed it, went up against the DB and a safety, came down with the ball. It's
double covered.
It's Nico.
Jumps up and snatches it. I mean, it was funny too, because if you look at the replay on that catch, when he hopped first, the other two hopped, and then if you see there's two blue hands, and then there's one white hand, the navy blue hand that's coming up in between, and he just put, I don't know, he puts himself exactly where he needs to be.
Yep.
And CJ puts that ball exactly where CJ needs to put that ball. And it's just
they on the same page, man.
They're there, man. They're there.
Yeah.
To your point, right? Stephon Diggs, 6 catches, 33 yards, only 5.5 yards per catch average. However, both the TDs were his for the wide receivers, right? So no TDs for Nico today. I mean, I'm totally getting my ass kicked.
Show me those TDs.
Yeah, I mean, but Dell, 3 catches, 40 yards, right? And then Schultz had a couple of catches. Agumbawale had a couple catches. Oh, he had 1 catch, and then Hutch had 1 catch. So
that's what's scary. That's what's scary about this team, Omar. We possessed the ball. We had such a great game on the ground, but clearly, if you needed CJ to turn it on and start slinging a rock and get more of these receivers involved, man, he could have done it.
Let's talk about CJ. 24 for 32 for 234 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That's just a great day at the office, boss.
Good day exactly. Lunch pail hard hat kind of day for CJ Stroud, right? And again, if you look at that stat line, regular old, regular season game, punch in, punch out, take care of business, and let's go home.
Mr. Reliable.
However, if you watch the game, there was a lot of things to be really happy about. The fact that not a single interception, not a single fumble for recovery, right? He did get sacked a couple of times, but there was also a couple of times where he made some really good decisions to throw the ball away. He made some really good decisions to scramble, exactly. So, again, the stat sheet isn't going to show you how great of a game CJ Stroud had, and against, let's face it, a pretty good defense that kept him on his heels.
The pass rush was great.
Some great, bro. They were hiding those blitzes.
Yeah.
Even you and I on a couple of them were like, oh shit, I did not. I mean, not that we can see. We're not fucking, what's his name from the Cowboys that calls out. We're not Tony Romo or anything, but I mean, sometimes you can see when they're like, oh shit, they're about to bring the house.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of times, man, there was one in particular where it seemed like the entire defensive line got past our offensive line.
Yeah.
Because CJ got tackled by like 5 guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they did a great job. And I think CJ did a good job of managing that to a point to where it didn't turn into anything detrimental in terms of turnovers.
Yeah. Yeah, he's solid. You trust him, right? Even with something. Credit to them for disguising their blitzes and just having good coverage overall. But you trust that CJ, even if it's a negative play on the down before, it's something about him, man. He just keeps it so cool. Yeah, he's like, all right, I'll make up for it. And he a lot of times he is able to, man.
Yeah.
Talking about managing and mismanaging stuff, bro. I don't know what in the hell happened at the end of the half, man. We were so majorly confused, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're watching us right now, you watched the game. Obviously, I'm sure you did. If you didn't watch the game, go watch the replay and then come back. Spoiler alert. We don't want to give it away too much, but Texans won.
In case you missed this banner right here at the beginning.
But at the end of the half, dude. Got the ball, ran it down the field, 2-minute drill. I think it was, less than 2 minutes.
Less than 2 minutes, like a minute 30 on the clock or something like that.
Great job by the Texans to get down the field, get in position to kick a field goal, right?
Right.
Then the referees clearly botched the timing of what, the time that was supposed to be on the clock. They said, 15 seconds back on the clock, blah, blah, blah. Then they were like,
so I think it was a throw to Schultz, right?
Yeah.
It was a throw to Schultz to get us within field goal range. And it left what we thought was 15 seconds because what they were trying to figure out was when Schultz was down. When did he go down? And
they thought they were trying to figure out if it was actually a completion
or not. That's right.
Because they went to the review board. They were like, let's review it. Let's make sure that he caught the pass, blah, 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 all this and that. They were like, okay, 15 seconds on the clock. Then they come back. The guy, I don't know if he was trying to like joke around or he says something goofy, right? Just to get the crowd,
he was like, my bad, guys.
My bad, sorry, or whatever. And we kind of got a chuckle out of it. But fuck him. You're not a fucking comedian. I'm a comedian. Okay. We don't need you doing my fucking job. We need you to give the facts on the field because you know what you did with your little chucklehead ass?
Yeah.
You screwed up D'Amico and what I mean, it's like, dude, we have to know that once the clock starts, it's going to start as soon as as soon as the possession starts, right? Not when the ball is snapped. That's what they got confused about. Now, you could beg the question, knowing that it went from 15 seconds to 5 seconds. Well, why the hell didn't you just trot the field goal unit on the field at that moment? What are you doing?
Right.
For what? In my mind, I'm like, okay. I was thinking, if this is a Madden type situation, you want to have like 1 or 2 seconds on the clock only because if you kick it off, they could run it back or run a Hail Mary play. But guess what? This ain't Madden. This is this NFL football. You got 5 seconds. Just kick the field goal. You're in field goal range already. What are you doing?
So I watched quite a few folks that that I watch after the game. Most of them did what we did, right? Which is like post post-show game and live streams and things like that. And so the general consensus is that just to kind of break this whole thing down, right? They said Schultz catches a pass. He was down, and there was 5 seconds left on the clock. And so he was down in inbound, and there was like 15 seconds left on the clock. And the offensive line rushes in to spike the ball. So they managed to rush in and spike the ball with 5 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
It was that time that the referee said, okay, well, actually, we're going to review the next play, the previous play, to make sure that it was a completed pass, right? So they review the play, and they say, okay, it's a completed pass. We're going to put 13 seconds back on the clock, thinking that Schultz being down was where to cut the clock off. But it wasn't. It's when they spiked the ball. However, because they decided to review the play, the spike is null and void.
Yeah.
So normally what would happen is when you spike the ball, you stop the clock, and the clock starts again at the snap.
Yeah.
But because the referees decided to review the play, that nullified the spike and the clock starting at the hike at the snap, and instead it starts at the whistle, right? So that was kind of the whole confusion there. So
very confusing, man.
It was weird. To your point, and your question is okay, if you only have 5 seconds left on the clock, why would you run a play? Why wouldn't you just trot out the field goal unit? Your field goal unit.
I already had a field goal unit out there.
I've heard from two. I heard from Cody Stoops, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
And I think Landry also made a comment on that in practice they've practiced this very scenario where it's not uncommon for the Texans to snap and do a quick out pass to the sideline in order to shift the ball to the other side of the field and potentially get another yard or two in an effort to finally kick that field goal. So apparently 5 seconds was enough for them to execute a play.
Yeah.
And at the time I was thinking just like, why? Okay, if you got 5 seconds, why try it out? But apparently they've gotten it done before with a 2 to 3 second quick dump off pass immediately to the sideline to stop the clock with an out of bounds run.
Yeah.
To set up the field goal unit. So I was like,
man,
all right.
Just, hopefully maybe that's just a one-off situation, just with all the goofiness with the review situation, with the referees helping to botch that. So hopefully this is a moot point, right? This isn't something that we're like, oh, we got to make sure this never happens again, because this was an extremely goofy type situation.
Completely goofy.
But man, think about how detrimental that could. I mean, 3 points are so valuable, man.
Yeah, we only won by 3.
Yeah. I mean, well, with 2 points, right?
If we won by 2.
I mean, the margin of error, as we've seen, just this entire weekend of the NFL action starting on Thursday, razor thin, man. Razor thin. So anytime you get an opportunity to get some points on the board, you got to be able to get them in. So
and another point too that you and I talked about in the live stream was we forget that this is DeMeco Ryans' second season as head coach.
Yeah.
And
baby.
He's exactly. And so, maybe oddball, goofy, weird things like that, or, that might trip him up once or twice, but I have full confidence that it will only trip him up once. And that they'll be sharp and ready for the next.
Somebody that we saw that we talked about a lot in the offseason made the squad, got a roster spot. Seemingly the only reason he got the roster spot is because he is a specialist at returning the ball.
Yeah.
Decided that I don't really feel like returning the ball. I think I'm gonna just fair catch it every time, no matter if I have opportunities to run in clear running lanes.
Steven Sims, right?
Yeah, Steven Sims. What the hell was going on with that?
We both looked at each other. I was like, I think I probably could have got an extra maybe 10 yards up my fat ass running.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Yeah.
And you could tell, because as soon as we said that, we were looking like, why is he calling fair catch? There's a lot of green grass in front of him. Yeah. And immediately after he made the fair catch, one of the teammates came over to him and was like,
they were like
huddling, talking to him, like, yo, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
So it wasn't just us thinking of, we don't want people to try to make something out of nothing, out of kick returns, right? Like, we know it's rare that you get a kick return or a punt return, right? But dude,
he had grass in front of him.
It was like 10, 20 yards. He could have taken off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't want to hang up too much on that, man. Look, we're being extra critical. We running through this thing with a fine-tooth comb because that's what we do here. We love this team. Right. This is a Super Bowl caliber winning team. And look, at this point, man, you've been rocking with us. You already know what it is. You know where you at. You are on the Bull Run Sports channel. Man, this is the most entertaining channel on YouTube when it comes to the Houston Texans. And we are preemptively recapping the historic Super Bowl run for the Houston Texans, the first Super Bowl run, the Bull Run, as we coin it, man. That's so right. You already know what to do. Do all of the YouTube stuff. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. It helps us out in the algorithm. And hit the notification bell so you can know when we going live and when we doing our anything that we do, all right? Because you want to be the first to see it. You want to make sure that you up on it. These lives have been absolutely amazing, so much fun. So you definitely want to get in on the next one, man. Before we get out of here, bro, a couple things I wanted to touch on before we go in the horns, because I think it'd be good to go in the horns today. You got a couple things, but I want to tease this a little bit, man. Maybe not our next episode, but definitely this week, dude. We have to go over how good was that Deshaun Watson trade for the Houston Texans. We're gonna go over it in detail. All right. The episode where we do the Deshaun Watson trade, we're gonna go through each and every player that we were able to get by trading Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. And we bring it up because, dude, Deshaun Watson has been, borderline garbage. Yeah,
24 for 45, 169 yards and 2 interceptions. He almost had the same kind of game that young Bryce had.
Insane. So look, I don't even want to harp on that too much. I'll just tease it a little bit because we're gonna have a full episode on that, man.
We're gonna go through that because God bless Lovie Smith.
God bless him.
God bless Lovie Smith, man.
But hey, look, around the horns, man. Second to last thing that we'll talk about, Kendrick Lamar headlining the Super Bowl this year, man. Was that a miss, Omar? Obviously, Kendrick, the hottest rapper in the game right now, bro.
Yeah, okay, but you and I were talking about it, right? It's like, I think we, both of us are hip hop heads. I don't think that just a hip, especially Kendrick, right? Kendrick is a different type of. Kendrick doesn't have a club hit. You know what I mean? Like,
not like us.
That wasn't supposed to be a club hit, right? That just
he knew what he was doing. He knew what that was going to get spins.
Well, but I think that's more. I think that's less of a club hit and more of the people that play it in the clubs. They play it because they hate Drake.
Yeah,
because they're not Drake fans. So they do it as mockery more than because it's a club. It's not like a Jaquan, everybody getting tipsy type of hit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but hip hop, the artists don't really make songs specifically like that anymore. It's just whatever's grabbed to be played in bars and clubs. You can argue and say that. Hell, when I go to bars, I don't even go to clubs, but if I go out to a bar, bro, all they playing is early 2000s type stuff. It's rare that you hear newer stuff from hip hop artists at all.
That was peak, but that was peak party music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Late 90s, early 2000s, that was peak party making music time.
To that point, we were debating would have been a better artist to grab, being that it's in New Orleans and someone who absolutely dominated the early 2000 charts in Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Bro, it could have, you would have had the New Orleans bounce. You would have had the Hot Boys, Juvenile. It would have been a party, bro.
They're already reuniting. They're already reuniting the Hot Boys, so they're already on tour. They're scheduled to do shows together. So that would have just been, I don't know. It would have been dope, but
it's a miss. It's a miss in my book, bro.
You know what? It's yet to be seen, right? I don't know if they're gonna do one of those things like they did with with Dr. Dre, where it's like Dr. Dre and company, or Dr. Dre and friends, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Because if it ends up being something like that, that might be something different.
It's Kendrick though. I mean, if you invite Lil Wayne and the New Orleans crew, dog, the loyalty with Lil Wayne and Drake, it's like, dog, how you? I don't think it's gonna happen just because of that dynamic, but it's a huge miss. I'm sure they'll do something like maybe a pre-game type New Orleans celebrating New Orleans hip hop, before but it's like everybody wants that coveted halftime show spot.
Yeah, but I don't know. I agree that I think it could have, they missed the mark by not having Lil Wayne there. Or just, hey, make it a Cash Money show or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like something like that, right?
100%.
I mean, obviously out of New Orleans, it isn't just Cash Money, right? I mean, there's a lot of good artists there. But
they deserve to have been celebrated with that halftime show, and not taking anything away from Kendrick Lamar at all. I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan, and like I say, he's the biggest hip hop artist in the world right now. Not just because of the whole beef situation. Hell, I'm glad that he's getting celebrated the way that he is because he's made nothing but classic albums.
Yeah, for sure.
So hey, let him get his shine, man. But
I agree.
Hey, last thing that we talk about around the horns, bro. Right before the games kicked off, the slate of the 12 p.m. games, they made Dak Prescott the highest paid player in the NFL. And it's like,
really?
What the hell? We talked about it, in one of our early episodes where Jerry Jones was kind of in the media saying like, hey, I ain't seen enough.
4 years, $240 million. With 231 of it guaranteed
for Dak Prescott.
For Dak,
the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
For Dakota Prescott. What did he do today? Let me see.
Oh, do you? I mean, bro, it was right before the game started. Do you think that he was just sitting in the locker room like, I ain't playing at all if you don't pay me? And because it's weird for that. That's weird for that type of deal to come out on a Sunday right before the game start. I mean, he had to literally have had Jerry Balls' nuts in his hands, just squeezing them like, "Hey, I ain't letting go unless you sign this paperwork, bro."
Or he finally sent to Jerry the videos that he's got on him. You're like, "Hey, look, man, here's what I got. You think I'm bluffing? Here's what I got."
Yeah. It was like,
I got the video of you on the ranch.
Yeah,
with your pants down.
He was on Twitter. On Twitter with his hand on the scene.
Look, no, he screenshotted the videos, and then on the send column it just said TMZ.
Yeah.
Which one do? But here's what you get for $239 million guaranteed. 19 for 32, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. So.
Well, the defense handled their business.
Like I said, the defense definitely did their thing. So
they played Deshaun Watson today, so they played
you see
Bryce Young.
You see, Tootie got a touchdown. He didn't do too bad. Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he did 10 yards, 10 carries, 40 yards.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, he got his little touchdown.
Good for him, man.
That's crazy, bro. $240 million, 4 years, $240 million
for Dak Prescott, Mister who it just disappears in the playoffs.
Listen, man, CJ, I'm calling it right now. CJ Stroud is signing $1 billion deal.
Yeah, all in all, once his career is done, his money made in the NFL will be a Billy for sure. It's just no way that it can't be. Not with this money that's going around. If you think that's crazy, I mean, just look at what Dak Prescott just got.
Yeah, CJ's 4 times the quarterback that Dak Prescott is. So yeah. They're gonna have to
tell me to just go ahead and start saving up his money, bro.
Yeah. One last thing, man. Before we log off here, vibes are high and positive in H-Town.
Absolutely.
These guys are on social media. We are in the age of social media, so a lot. I follow all of the Texans players on social media, and man, those reels and those stories were popping off. I think Dell went live. I think Nico went not Nico. Diggs went live. It was a good atmosphere. Obviously, it's a dub, right? We know that, right? But I I made a comment earlier that you really liked, which was they took it off of the paper and put it onto the field today.
Yeah. We were the paper bandits, but we're the on-field soldiers now, man.
Yeah, exactly. That was key. So it's one thing for everybody to be speculating and talking over the last 2 or 3 months about what we could be, and today we showed what we are, and that is, in my opinion, one of the most complete teams in the NFL.
Yeah, man. Talking about Bob's being high, bro. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I fell in love with sports in the first place, man. I grew up, watching the Rockets, watching the Astros, watching the Oilers. It was a must-see TV in my household, man. My dad was a huge fan. Shout out to him, for getting me into it, man, because it just became a love and a passion of mine. But what was so cool, I'm 9 years old when we won our first championship, with the Rockets. We went down on Richmond, all the craziness or whatever. Shout out to my folks for allowing me to go out there. But the positivity, the love, that just random people, man, we didn't know who the fuck these people were. Nobody knew each other. It didn't matter. All that mattered was, hey, we here celebrating our team, celebrating our city. Yeah. And ever since then, man, I've just always cared about recreating and magic, and man, it's great. Like I say, on our live today, so many people, so many different cities, we're just celebrating these vibes, this positive energy going on in H-Town right now, man. So I can't wait to February.
Puka Nacua hurt.
Yeah, he been out.
That's not good. And then also Bryce Hall. You heard about him? Fractured tibia.
Bryce Hall is hurt.
Yep. Bryce Hall fractured, dislocated right ankle and fractured fibula.
Oh, they don't even play till tomorrow.
He was carted off the field, it says.
Wait, hold on. We got to figure out who we talking about, because Bryce Hall don't even play till tomorrow. But
cornerback for the Bucks?
No. I thought you were talking about Bryce Hall for the Jets. My bad. But man, we definitely gonna get into more fantasy stuff. Try to keep y'all up and post it on that, man. But for now, it's all about these Texans. We got this dub, and on to the next one.
On to the next one, baby. Primetime game next week against the Bears. The Bears.
We're gonna talk about the Sassy Soldiers a lot leading up to the game, man.
Your boy had a killer manicure on there. You saw that with the Bears logo on there and everything. That's good.
He leaning into it, man.
Not mad at that. Mad at that.
Well, all right, man. We're gonna get up out of here as always, man. We love y'all. We appreciate you being here, and we will see you next time.
Peace.